Hello.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Lucie.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
If everyone is ready, we can start.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to share my screen or?
Yeah, that would be perfect.
So you should be able to see my presentation just now?
Yes.
Great. Sorry, I can hardly understand you. But Lucie, I take it I'm just starting off.
I can make a short introduction.
Okay.
Okay. So, can I start?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone is ready.
Okay. So, good afternoon and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the break. My name is Lucie Hopfensack. I'm junior researcher at the Wuppertal Institute in the division of circular economy and moderate the next 2 hours of the conference. We start with a presentation from Dr. Holger Berg. He's co-head of Research Unit Digital Transformation, and today he presents implications of digitalization for the circular economy. After the presentation, you have time to ask questions. Please use the chat function and enter the number of the hall. We stay in the hall 1. And now I hand over to Dr. Holger Berg.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. So, as Lucie already introduced, I am the head of digital transformation at Wuppertal Institute. So my work is in how can we use digital technologies to make circular economy work, and how what do we have to do to make digital transformation sustainable. Today I would like to show you a bit of our work with regards to needs and chances to use digital technologies for circular economy. And doing that, I want to start off a bit with the current problems of the linear system and show you why digital technologies are a big chance to work on exactly these problems. So just some numbers, and I think these are the things that drive all of us. So first of all, starting with mobility, and all these numbers are for Europe. So in Europe, a car remain parked 92% of the time. It's usually occupied by 1.5 people if it is used. And there's 30,000 people dying in car accidents each year in Europe. So we have a system right now of mobility which is not extremely sustainable or efficient. And the same goes for buildings. Most of the waste that we send to 30% of the waste that we send to landfills in Europe comes from construction. And the buildings that we create, for example, if you look into office buildings, they are only occupied 40 to 50% on a work day, so when they are really in use. And at the same time, we have about 11 million empty homes in Europe, or at least had at around 2015. Now, if we look more at into the biological part, so into the food system, then we have 100 million tons of food lost annually in Europe, which is, and from that loss, 50% already occurs before it reaches the customer. So 50% loss happens along the production chain. And the residues, the food waste that we create, 97% of biomass, which could go to very different purposes, go to landfill. At the same time, soil degradation in Europe is somewhere between 30 and 80%, depending on where you are. So as you may already know, we are facing an established but very inefficient system. And as you also know, circular economy is one of the instruments, one of the strategies and goals that can actually counter those inefficiencies. So by all the instruments that come with circular economy, eco-design, repair, reuse, remanufacturing, and then recycling at the waste level, we could be much more efficient. We could save on resources, we can save on energy. And if you read the projections that come for circular economy, then you may also have learned that projections for use of circular economy in terms of growth expectations in terms of creation of work, of jobs actually, are very good. So loads of growth expected, loads of new jobs expected from circular economy. Another question is, if it's so great and if it's such a fine strategy, why doesn't it happen more? Why is it so difficult to actually put into place? And one of the major concerns and one of the major problems is information deficits. So in many cases, we do not have the knowledge that we need about products, materials, and so forth to actually implement the circular instruments like reuse, like repair, or recycling. So if you go into plastics, for example, at this point in time in Europe, it is extremely difficult to find out which recyclate you can obtain in which quality, at which point in time, and at what amount. And all this information is extremely important if you want to use recyclate in large amounts, for example, in building cars. And with these information deficits come large transaction costs, because it is in the aftermath much more expensive to create all that knowledge that you would need and to transfer it. You need lab testing, for example, for recyclate to ensure quality and so forth. Due to bad experiences in terms of information deficits, bad experience in terms of the quality that you received when you expected something totally different, due to the higher transaction costs in monitoring contracts, in monitoring products, customers who could use either refurbished goods or recyclate have strong reservations because they cannot be sure about the quality that they get. And another problem is technical deficits. So many products are not designed for circular economy now. And that increases the problems that I've mentioned before. So if I cannot repair a product, if I cannot tell what is in it, if I cannot disassemble it properly, then it is not fit for the circular economy. Now, if information deficits are at the core or part of the core of the problems of introducing circular economy, then digital solutions can be one ingredient indeed of creating the circular economy, because digital solutions or digital technologies are especially good in creating information, passing it on, analyzing it, transferring it. And indeed, the most important hypothesis is the circular economy will be digital. And it will be digital for two reasons. Reason number one is the whole economy, almost currently, but certainly of the future, will be shaped by digital appliances, by digital instruments, and so forth. So it doesn't make sense to think of a circular economy that is not digital. And that also means that there is a responsibility for actually working on these digital practices, on creating digital products, practices, and software that is also prone to be circular. And the second point is, as I've mentioned before, it is digital solutions that can create the kind of information, the kind of knowledge that we need to design goods well in computer-aided design, that can help to know and learn when a product needs to be maintained effectively in predictive maintenance, that can tell us about what a used product has experienced, what kind of abuse or abrasion has been there if we think about remanufacturing. And they can provide us with the knowledge that we need in terms of ingredients, for example, for recycling. So which kind of plastics do I have in front of me? And if we look at the technologies that are there, I just want to provide you with a couple of examples how they can be used. So one of my favorite examples is cyber physical systems. So the chance to transfer all the knowledge, all the data about a product from its inception at production point to its end of life along this life cycle. So currently, if you produce, for example, a car in a modern manufacturing line, then you would enter a piece of information like a barcode. And this piece of information will start constructing itself into a car. So it will assemble the right parts. It will adjust the tools. And at the end, you have a full produced car. And the great thing about this is the next car, based on totally different information, can be a totally different car. However, currently, this kind of work, where the information is passed along the production line, where a virtual twin is being created along this production line, more or less ends at the gate. So while this piece of information, this barcode, this data frame could also tell you how to disassemble the car at the end, what to do with the material that is in it, or in the first place, which kind of material is in it. All this information is not being passed along. If we could achieve this, we could go a much longer way for many parts in recycling. And actually, not the cyber physical digital twin, sorry, not the digital twin for circular economy is so much in emergence as is the digital product passport, which will have many of the features that I've shown you. At the same time, we need improved, optimized operations and logistics, meaning digital technologies like artificial intelligence, like improved storage, will provide us with more knowledge on where a specific material or product are, and will improve our capacity to bring this product or material to the right place for better use in circular economy. At the same time, they help us to have a more efficient logistics system. So, for example, to reduce transport kilometers and thus reduce GHG emissions. Another point in case is sensoring. For example, we are right now testing sensors in plastics production, so that, and plastics recyclate production, so that at the point where plastics recyclate is produced, we can already tell from sensors what attributes, what capacities, and what qualities such a recyclate has. So we can pass it on and reduce the search and transaction costs and the information deficits that I showed you at the beginning. Now, if we look at how such a system could be conceived and what it needs, then the first thing a digital circular economy requires is a data-driven culture. That is, we need to create, to analyze, and to transfer the data that comes with products and product use to actually learn more about how to make them function better in a circular economy, but also to to allow circles to happen because we know what the product has experienced and what we can do with the materials. And with that comes a circle of data collection, of being able to integrate data from different sources. So we also need data interoperability. We need to be able to share that data, for example, along the production, along the supply chain, or even better, along the circle, so that every instance of the circle knows what they are dealing with and can pass on what they have done with a product or material. And of course, data analytics is another point in case to optimize behavior cycles or even to create cycles in the first place. The technologies that we require for that are in a way already in place. The most important thing is to combine them in the way that we need them. So just as examples, we can use Internet of Things to create data. We achieve large data pools, so big data. To make this data safe so that we can know for sure what happened to a product, for example, and to ensure that the data has not been corrupted, we can create safe storage spaces, like, for example, distributed ledgers. And we can use, as I've said before, artificial intelligence or other analytical tools to learn from the data and have more efficient cycles. If we put this into a little broader perspective, then you can also see that this becomes a hierarchy. Data collection is the first instance that we need to create knowledge, to give sense to the data, to what we've seen, to what we've learned. If we go further, if we start integrating the data, if we give context to the data, then we start creating information. So put it into context, put it into place, see the relations. If we go further to analyze data, then we can start to give meaning, that is to create real knowledge. And from the synthesis, that is from system perspective, also create wise decisions, intelligent decisions on how we manage cycles. And that also enables us to have a better perspective on the resources. So from knowing what happened to a resource to what can we do to make, better can we do to make use of the resource in the future, and how can the use of the resource be optimized dynamically. Digital technologies can enable us to go these steps and to climb up to a more circular economy. Some key messages for that. What is needed to make this happen? First of all, it means also that we have to create safe and circular data spaces. So if we need so much data, if we need to pass it on, then data has to be reliable. It should be stored in a way that it is not corruptible. As I've showed you, distributed ledger or blockchain could be part of that, but also other ways of storing data, like safe cloud systems, as the Gaia X system that is just being created in Europe could be a point in case. We need much more standardization. Right now, much of the data that is being generated is fuzzy. It cannot speak to each other, so it is not interoperable. We lack many standards to actually make data talk to each other. We lack the interfaces between different machines, between different instances of the supply chain. Those instances need to be created. Part of that could be the introduction, as I explained before, of digital circular twins or passports. So pieces of files, pieces of information that tell you what is in the product or material, what has it experienced, what is in it, how can it be disassembled, what has it experienced in its lifetime, and so forth. And as I've told you before, especially looking at the passport, we are going that way. And on Friday, the European Union announced that a first passport will be created for batteries, with the goal of having the system running in 2026. Then we have to introduce also circular economy for the digital sector. As I've told you before, with digital technologies emerging everywhere, and in a circular economy would be applied everywhere, then we would also have to take care that these technologies are used sustainably. And as you may know, currently WEEE, so the waste stream from electronic products, is one of the fastest growing waste streams, not just in Europe, but worldwide. And actually the treatment for WEEE is extremely poor, meaning much of this waste is being exported illegally, is being treated in ways that are not even close to European standards, and in effect has already catered for some of the most poisoned places on this planet. So we don't just need a digital circular economy, we also need circular economy for the digital economy. And lastly, all this data that we create, the things that we may learn from it, the information, knowledge, or even wisdom that may be obtained can also be used to create much more informed politics. That is, the decision makers in the policy realm can use such information to make much better informed decisions, to make decisions that are formed on real-time, close data created within the system. And again, obviously, digital data analytic tools can be of much help here. So just to sum up, digital technologies are a vital ingredient in making circular economy happen. They require a circular economy of their own, and they can prove extremely useful to create informed policies for circular economy. Thank you very much. If you want to learn a bit more about what I've just showed you, we've created a white paper on this early last month, together with a network of European partners, which can be downloaded, obviously. And if you want to, I'm also be happy to be in contact via email or LinkedIn. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Holger, for the interesting aspects of digitalization and the opportunities for circular economy. If there are any questions, you can write it in the chat so we can answer it. But I see no questions.
So again, in that case, thanks again very much. And if any questions arise later, if you want to be in contact, drop me a line. I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And yeah, thank you for your time. And I think now it's a 5-minute break, and then the next session starts.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.